On today's show, it's the Visa Problem Super Show. In esports, there are three constants: death, taxes, and visa problems. We break down all the visa issues plaguing this year's TI6. The historic cases around visas, that's number one. Number two, P1 visas, athletes visas. What are all these visas about? Esports has a problem. The question is, why is this still a thing? We totally didn't steal that from HBO. That's number two. All these and more on the Gauntlet, and it starts right now. Hello and welcome back to the GG Gauntlet. We're here with Juabe. Juabe's very fidgety today. Do you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi.
Stop fidgeting. What is wrong
Yeah,
with
man.
you?
Come on.
Relax, calm down. We're talking about a very important thing. So yeah, do all of that. And we're also joined by Marco. Marco, say hi.
I can whistle.
Whistle.
Right, so, and I am, of course, your host, Pao Bago, and we have a lot to talk about today, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Stop whistling. I can't whistle.
It's just a,
It's not something that I can do. I can do a lot of... Are you an
I can-
owl? Are you
I can host the crap out of this show, but I can't whistle.
Alright, so today we are talking about all of the visa issues for TI6.
All of them.
Players, teams, the entire history of visa problems in esports, all the money coming in, and for some reason we can't solve this one problem that, you know, a single mom can fix by herself in order to provide for her family. It's weird. On the show today, we're going to talk about who's almost going to miss out on TI6 and why that's happening. Juabe, why don't you bring us up to speed?
TI6, the biggest Dota event of the year, is just around the corner. And still, every year we have these problems. And now it's even worse, because it's not just one or two players, but entire teams who might be able to miss this event. I mean, come on, what's up with that?
What's
What's up with that?
Is that the Seinfeld opener? I mean, so on the docket is just a bunch of teams from China, teams from the Philippines might be missing out on the show. I mean, Marco, what's up?
For me, it's unacceptable. I mean, this isn't even the first time it's happened. At every level, you have people not taking this seriously. It's the players not even having passports. It's the organizations not facilitating it. Even the private sector. It's just no one's getting their stuff together for something that should be streamlined so the competition can be legitimate.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, and I feel like it's an onus. The onus is on the big organizations to really lead the way. I mean, you have Valve and Riot putting up $1 million tournaments year over year, and this is a constant recurring problem. For all the things Riot says about competitive integrity or all of the trademarked sort of press releases, Valve, all the money coming in.
Yeah, and I mean, if you really want to shoot for the top, you have to know that sooner or later you're going to have to fly somewhere to compete. So why not be prepared?
Yeah, just do it.
So, as we're going to see with the rundown of all the teams with problems today, every step of the way there is an issue. Teams, players themselves not taking it seriously, not preparing, not thinking forward enough, and the organizations behind that. So let's talk about the amount of people who might miss TI6 this year. So by the time you're seeing this, who knows? Maybe their visas got through in the last minute. Maybe they've confirmed they're flying, or they're missing it. This is probably the first TI where entire rosters will lose it. Not one, but, you know.
I mean, the first TI where we get two teams and then both of them.
Definitely. So for the Philippines, let's run out TNC, first winner of the Southeast Asian qualifier.
Hey.
The first Filipino team in history to qualify for TI. Not invited, not like Mineski in Season 1.
Yeah.
Might miss it because of a visa issue.
Oh, man.
Not just them.
Execration, people who, this team, Filipino team from Cavite, qualified for the wild card tournament, the final tournament before TI actually starts. They could potentially be the last team on that competition. Might miss it as well. But not only that, in China, LGD's September might miss the tournament starting on this August. And VGR's Yang, VG Gaming Reborn's Yang. A lot of people, but here's the thing. This is not the first time it's happened.
Yeah, we've had a big and long history of visa issues.
Yes,
Yeah,
security.
yeah. No, I mean, going as far back as Season 3 for League of Legends, for example, with Moscow 5/Gambit Gaming. Russians and other countries, I don't know, it's just hard to get visas to anywhere. They've been plagued with subs for the LCS, for all-star events, everything. Go closer to home, we have Xmithy, the half Pinoy member of CLG, who
CLG.
he was directly involved in helping.
Yeah, that one
Xmithy.
was more because of the power of the Philippine passport.
Yes.
Just to go around, and the fact that he was over there, he had to contact the MC over here. I love that, but the point is, years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been happening for years.
Let's not forget how Exile couldn't fly and Mineski took their place in season 3 for
what could
Worlds.
have been.
And I know you're very invested in this story. Rave.
Oh yes,
Oh,
Rave. Yeah.
Yes.
Offloaded from the plane, going back to Korea.
Mhm.
Again, another visa issue. Even though this time they had all the prerequisites.
Yep.
All the prerequisites. Now I know for the fighting game community, this year there's a big asterisk in the biggest event of the year, Evo.
So Team Solo means Leffen, also known as the Gods there because he can beat like the best players in the world. Wasn't able to go to Evo, the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, and that is a big what could have been, because he could have been the one in Hungry Box's place as the winner of Melee.
Oh, that's right.
Because he has like the skills, like he's some dude from Sweden, but somehow he manages to beat what people consider the gods of Melee, Mewtwo King, Mango, Armada, can beat him, but he's not there.
Right, so it's one of those things where you can see tournament integrity, competitive integrity. There's a lot of storylines that are born just by watching the best players competing at the largest stage.
Precisely.
And, I mean, a piece of paper, man.
Yep. That's all you need.
But the thing is, so especially in the Philippine context right now, a lot of support from the government is coming out. You have
Yes,
the office
definitely.
of Senator Bam Aquino,
Yeah.
Binig na Paulo Aquino,
Shoutouts.
helping these players
Yes.
get through their visas quicker, faster, expedited visas. We have Acclaim Empire X, who just won PGS, the
Yep.
local League of
Yay.
Legends finals. They didn't have passports,
Yeah.
right? They didn't have passports. They didn't
Oh
think
boy.
to apply for passports, even though the actual carrot at the end of the stick of the PGS is to go out of the country.
Yeah.
And they were already in the
Although-
finals. So
Although it was, to be fair, this time it was a real long shot, but still, that's not an excuse.
yeah.
That's not an excuse. That's right. So, I mean, just for context, a lot of the talking points right now in Southeast Asia is greater government support in order to get these visas done faster. For the Philippines, I mean, it's good we have a sitting senator doing it.
Yeah, but before you even get the visas, you need to secure a passport. I mean, help
Yes.
help the government help you is what I'm saying.
Exactly. So in the case of TNC and Execration, Senator Bam had this to say in a Facebook post, said, "Let's continue rallying behind our Filipino Dota players. Keep praying and continue tweeting. Hashtag let PH play." And his office did contact us saying that they are in close talks together with TNC and Execration with the American Embassy.
Hopefully that pushes through then.
Hopefully,
It
hopefully
better.
it does.
It better.
Way better.
Or by the time this airs, it may have. Or,
It may have.
Or may not.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know at this point in time. We are recording this July the 28th. Who knows? Maybe later on this afternoon, they might be flying.
Yeah.
Or if they don't, see, that's the repercussion here. What happens? Do they get a pity invite to the next major?
Yeah.
Do they get an invite to the international?
Yeah.
See, all of those things jeopardizing
Or
this
will it
thing.
go the opposite way? We're like, oh man, these Filipino teams, they can't get their visas together. Let's just not invite them anymore.
Yeah, what's the
Right.
point? Like, you can't get them to get back here, so
And the other side of that is that there's a lot of bad advice going around for these teams, right? So
yeah.
I mean, in the case of TNC and Execration, they were supposed to secure P1 visas right from the get-go. But advice coming in from different parties told them to get B1 and B2 visas because in past internationals, that's what teams applied for. But now that the U.S.
The rules have
government,
changed.
the rules have changed, especially the more that the esports industry grows,
Yeah.
the more it's being looked at by governmental bodies.
I mean, you said this in previous episodes. Like, if you want it to be bigger, you have to know that it's going to get more legitimate. There are going to be more structured rules to it.
Right, and from the outside, so you really gotta shape up. It's
Yeah.
these things that sort of put a dark spot in the records of competitive history.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just look, if it wasn't happening, we have a great story with AEX, right? The epitome of the underdog, rising up,
right.
and they had to go all the way. But if they stop here, like, oh, it's a
Then
wasted story.
IPT is the one who goes to GPL anyway, so it feels like the split finals
Pretty meaningless.
pretty much
Yeah.
meaningless. For the case of TNC, first team in the history of the Philippines to qualify directly for TI, but without a chance to prove it on the main stage,
I mean,
doesn't really say much,
Yeah.
right? So we'll definitely take a closer look at this. We'll follow this story as it unfolds, but for now, we do have to shift the topic, something deeper, something broader. The fact that there are a lot of esports organizations entering the space saying that they want to save esports, but are focusing on the wrong things, because if they want to save esports, you'd think they'd fix this problem first.
you'd
Yeah.
think.
So more on that when we come back. The Gauntlet. We'll be right back. Don't stick around. Welcome back to the GG Gauntlet, and we're back talking about visa issues. You know what? With all of the attention esports has been getting over the years, a new org seems to be coming in every 6 months,
Yeah.
looking to save esports from its problems. But why are visa issues still a thing?
Yes.
That's my question.
My question is, how is this not illegal
Already. Shout outs to Darkman on YouTube. So, the question for today, gentlemen, is: are problems like doping, international recognition via the Olympic Committee, all of these other things that other organizations have been saying that we need for esports, are these more pressing than the obvious problems that we're having in the context of the esports industry, where, you know, literally the subject of today's show, visa problems, immigration problems with players and tournaments? So I don't know. Have at it, guys. What's your take?
Alright, so in 2014, the ISF, or the International Esports Federation, teamed up with WADA, the World Anti-Doping Association, to, as you said, save esports. For the topic is doping, because there have been reports of players taking Adderall and Ritalin. For those who don't know, those are drugs that are used by people who are diagnosed with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, to like help them focus. And their effects are again, like short-term focus, better reaction times, and there have been known players who have been taking those kinds of drugs during games to improve their performance. And yes, that's well and good, but there haven't been a lot of examples of players or teams taking those drugs and actually having a good performance, like winning these games. I mean, you can see like Cloud9, like, there has been that issue with Cloud9, and yeah.
Right, for Counter-Strike, you know, for CSGO, the problem was that Cloud9 was outed, I think early in 2015, as one of those teams that used these illicit drugs. It was also around the same time that ESL announced that for their tournaments they were going to hold mandatory drug tests for all competitors.
That was big news at the time, because there were thoughts of, oh no, is it because big money is coming into esports? Is that why the drugs are coming in, like regular sports?
Right.
Like, but how do we even know that if you take Adderall, if you take the Ritalin, will you consistently win more? There hasn't been any proven results. Like, I mean, definitely not Cloud9.
No. Definitely
Adderall does not equal winning in that case.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think in that context, you kind of see that, yes, you do need a body that's looking out for competitive integrity.
Yeah, but another thing is, some people actually need those drugs as a prescription.
right.
How would you know that?
How do you determine?
Yeah, there are people that legitimately need them to function, and then there are people who allegedly,
I need
just use them as performance-enhancing drugs.
That's true.
How do you regulate between the two? Because we don't know. We don't know which is legitimate, which isn't.
And we don't have the sample size for it.
Yeah,
Right? We don't have
but you know what
statistics.
does have the sample size? Visa issues.
Right. Yeah. It does. I mean, every year it seems like a tournament in virtually every esport has a tournament that's missing a player, missing a team, because of visa issues. And we run down the examples at the beginning of the show. But to me, what it looks like is it's a clear case of misappropriation, right? Misprioritization of effort, of time and resources, because it feels as though these are problems that certain organizations are using so that they're more PR friendly with the media.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for some of these organizations, they are always saying that, oh, hey, you know what? Either we're gonna solve the drug problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or we're coming in so that esports can be legitimized because it has a problem being accepted as a sport.
Yeah.
Right. That's why you have the British esports organization, the one that's spearheading Rio 2016, saying that, you know what, with this you'll be recognized as a real sport because you'll be in a real sporting event.
Yeah.
And with IESF, who's been there for years, also the same
years.
thing, right?
For years.
The IOC, a very, very strong part of their media communique.
Mhm.
The other part is that we've received communication from tournament organizers even.
Yeah.
Right? We've received communication from them, right? The problem isn't visas because they still tell players, you know what, apply with a B1 visa. Apply with a tourist visa. So it's really not the priority of everyone.
Yeah.
And that's the strange thing.
So
How does the
wait.
government view like esports as a whole?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's for the viewers. Can you explain like how big the difference is between the B1 and the P1 visa for those who don't?
Oh, definitely. I mean, this especially applies to the United States. So the
Yeah.
B1, B2 tourist visas, they're there for either business or pleasure, right?
Mhm.
But not in the sense that you're going over there to be employed or paid for your
Yes.
skills. This is mostly for either vacations or business trips, business meetings, right? The P1 visa is used by athletes either competing over there or going there as a salaried member of the team.
Yeah. Money.
Exactly. So it's on one hand, we wanted esports to be more legitimate
Mhm.
by growing. And
Yep.
so when the US government said we're going to recognize these players and award them P1 visas, the flip side is that everyone else now has to play that game. If you want to get into the United States to play in a tournament, you have to fill out these visa forms,
Yep.
right? You have to meet these requirements. And it should be easy enough, all things considered. You know, relatively speaking, it could be harder for some people.
Yeah.
But why isn't it being prioritized? Why are these organizations not solving this problem first?
Yeah, see, what I don't understand is, I mean, before you get into the whole, our competitive integrity is going to be interrupted by drugs or something like that. First of all, have a complete tournament first. If not, all the participants are there.
That's right. I mean,
Come on.
again, we go back to the ex-Smithy thing where they're scrounging up just whoever can fill his role.
Yeah, before you talk about anyone playing
Is it
unfairly,
fair? Right.
make sure everyone can play.
In the first
Alright.
place.
Right.
Because you're gonna have buys.
It's a crazy option. Yeah, it's a
Because
crazy
in the
stand,
worst
right?
in the worst scenario, you're gonna have tournament buys. If not, you're gonna have last minute subs. And even if all players make it, all the visa issues will have them, short on practice, nervous, not prepared.
Right. We have that right now.
Too
With
many
T-
asterisks. on
Exactly, with TNC and Execration, the entire time just stressed out over these visa
Yeah.
problems. And I mean, we know for a fact they're not their head is not 100% into practicing to preparing for
that. Yeah.
the actual
At-
biggest tournament, the actual end goal.
At that point, it's not even like, okay, we go there and we want to be number one. It's just like, oh, we go there.
Yeah, you just want to go there, right? So it's sort of a defeatist mentality
Yeah.
right now, where the goal is now just to get there, not win, get
Yes.
there. So it's a travesty.
Yeah, and for the organizers themselves for these esports teams, if they want to be recognized as a team worth their salt, they need to be able to plan ahead and
Oh,
prepare
that's
the
right.
players.
Yes.
Like, if you want to be an international esports team, wouldn't it be good if they're able to get out of the country in the first place?
I mean, just at least a passport, right?
Yeah,
At
just a
least
passport. Like,
That's all we're asking
like,
for.
by the very beginning of the split, they should start processing these things and like
or
the passports-
require them. Even.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
That would be better.
am I crazy here? Is
Yeah.
that too much?
They,
to ask?
they should put that clause in all their player contracts.
Well, see, that's the thing though. Then
Oh.
then they'd have to all have contracts that are that
Yeah,
are good.
because don't they have that already? Oh,
Dun, dun.
dun, dun.
That's something for another day. But you know what? Let's just bring it back. I mean, there are good things and bad things about this. So every part of the industry needs to shape up, because if the actual competition is marred by what amounts to actually brown nosing, it's paperwork, right? It's bureaucracy. If that's what it takes to to delegitimize esports, then come on, guys. Man alive, get your act together.
Yeah.
Right? And then at the same time, you can see that every step of the way, though, all of these players, all of these stakeholders in the industry can contribute something.
Yeah,
Right?
you don't want that on your player record. Like, oh, my greatest loss was to a form,
Oh,
right?
yeah. I mean,
I can't fight this piece of paper.
right. I can lose to Dandy just fine though,
Yeah,
but Jesus,
yeah,
you lost to like a 35-year-old person just sitting behind a desk. I mean, you knew that already, losing to a person sitting behind a desk. But come on, man.
yeah. This one
Get
doesn't even
real.
have a top of the line computer.
Doesn't even have the APM, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at it from the publisher side, right?
Mhm.
Right, especially with the big name tournaments, they can provide all of the letters of I don't know, letter of recommendation or just vouching that these players are going to a big event.
Yeah,
You can set the schedule up ahead in advance. Not put them at risk of missing your tournament.
yeah,
That's one. Tournament organizers can do the same. How about have a clearer schedule?
yeah. Or just a friendly reminder, like, hey, you're in the playoffs. You might want to start if you haven't already.
Right.
Good, but now, okay, we'll help you.
Right.
with the
And
process.
in 2016, we're going to 2017. It seems like more of it is now not just in one-off tournaments, but in leagues.
Yeah.
Maybe have that as a requirement.
More and more circuits popping up.
Exactly. So, I mean, everyone has a vested interest in making these tournaments. So how about we solve that first?
Yes.
I don't know. It's a crazy dream, but it is a dream. So, I don't know. We'll see. By the time you watch this, we'll have more on the issue. Maybe TNC and Execration make it. I believe that the Chinese players, namely September from LGD and Yang from Vici Gaming Reborn, sadly have been denied their final appeals. So they will be replaced on their team. So
Oh man.
that's gonna be hard. For example, LGD, I know they are a very tight knit group.
Yeah.
A lot of role players on that team. So once you take one out,
Yeah,
it could
you
fall
can't
apart.
just plug and play. Is what
Exactly, and this close to the tournament. So we'll know more. But for now, that's it for the Gauntlet. This has been Juabe and Marco. Thank you for joining us. See you around.